There comes a moment in every person's life, a moment that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. It's a moment when you look around your room, scroll through your phone, glance at the people you call family and friends, and realize something profound: no one is coming. No one is going to save you. No one is going to invest in your vision. No one is going to push you when you're tired. And if you fall, no one is going to catch you. For 99% of people, this realization marks the beginning of depression. It's the moment they break. They feel abandoned, victimized, asking the universe, why me? Why do I have to do this alone? But for the 1%, the outliers, the architects of their own destiny, this moment is not a tragedy. It's a baptism. It's the beginning of everything. You're watching this because you feel it. You feel the weight of an ambition that no one around you understands. You're tired of explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You're tired of waiting for permission, waiting for support, waiting for a team. So let me tell you something that will change your life: stop waiting. Over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you how to build an empire with zero support. I'm going to show you why having no one is actually a strategic advantage that gives you a lethality the supported person will never possess. But I must warn you, we're going to perform surgery on your mindset. We're going to cut out the part of you that craves validation. We're going to kill the herd animal inside you. If you're scared of walking into the dark alone, this isn't for you. Go back to the crowd. They'll keep you warm. But if you're ready to become the kind of person who scares the crowd, listen closely. Dismantling the myth. From the moment you were born, you were conditioned to be dependent. School taught you group projects. Religion taught you congregation. Society taught you networking. You've been brainwashed to believe that the only way to move up is to be lifted up by others. It's not what you know, it's who you know. We've all heard it. We all nod. We all agree. And it's poison. When you rely on who you know, you're admitting that you're powerless without them. You're handing the keys of your destiny to people who act based on their self-interest, not yours. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, a wise prince should rely on what is in his own control, not on what is in the control of others. Think about it deeply. When you seek support, you're actually seeking debt. When someone helps you, you owe them. When someone invests in you, they own a piece of you. When someone supports you emotionally, they hold the power to withdraw that support and control you. You're looking for a safety net, but a safety net is also a spiderweb. It catches you, yes, but it also traps you. The reason you haven't succeeded yet is not because you lack support. It's because you're still looking for it. You're burning valuable mental energy scanning the horizon for a savior. You're diluting your vision to make it palatable for others. You're waiting for applause before you even finish the performance. The 0 point. You must accept what I call the 0 point. The 0 point is the state of absolute isolation. It's when you look at your bank account, your contacts, and your resources and see nothing but your own reflection. Most people panic here. You will not. You will see this as the ultimate freedom. If you have zero support, you have zero masters. If no one helped you up, no one can tear you down. If you built it alone, you keep 100% of the throne. This is the cold rationality of the outlier. We don't cry about the empty room. We use the space to build. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Let's apply this to your loneliness. When you're looking for support, you're looking to be loved. You want people to like your idea. You want your family to be proud. You want your friends to cheer. You're operating from a place of emotional neediness. And neediness repels power. Have you noticed? The more you beg for help, the less you get. The more you try to explain your big vision to your small-minded friends, the more they roll their eyes. They sense your desperation, and desperation smells like weakness. To succeed with zero support, you must stop trying to be loved and start commanding respect through competence. This requires a fundamental shift in your internal engine. You're no longer running on the fuel of encouragement. You're running on the fuel of defiance. You must look at the people who don't support you, the doubters, the ghosts, the ones who left you on read, and you must not feel sadness. You must feel a cold, calculated drive. They don't believe. Good. That means the market is open. They won't help. Good. That means you don't have to share the spoils. The strategic advantage. Imagine a general on a battlefield. He looks back and sees his army has deserted him. He stands alone against the enemy. Does he sit down and cry about loyalty? No. He assesses his weapons. He assesses the terrain. He realizes that a single man moving in the shadows is harder to kill than a clumsy army marching in the light. He becomes asymmetrical. You are that general. Your lack of support forces you to be smarter. It forces you to be faster. A large corporation with 1,000 employees moves slowly. They have meetings about meetings. But you can change your entire life in 1 hour because you have no one to consult. You don't need a board of directors. You need a mirror. Stop viewing your isolation as a punishment. It's a filter. It's filtering out the weak people who would have slowed you down. It's filtering out the fake allies who would have stabbed you in the back the moment you got a taste of success. You're alone because you're being protected from the weight of other people's mediocrity. The ghost phase. So how do you actually execute this? How do you wake up every day with 0 messages of encouragement and still work like a demon? You enter what I call the ghost phase. This is a concept derived from strategic warfare. If you have no support, you have no audience. If you have no audience, you have no need to perform. Become a ghost. Most people fail because they talk away their energy. They have an idea and immediately run to tell a friend. The friend says, "That sounds hard," or "Are you sure?" Boom. The doubt enters. The energy leaks. You get a tiny hit of dopamine just from talking about the goal, which tricks your brain into thinking you've achieved it. So you stop working. The ghost does not speak. You must take a vow of silence regarding your ambitions. Do not tell your mother. Do not tell your partner. Do not post "big things coming" on Instagram. Silence creates pressure. When you have a massive goal inside you and you don't let it out through your mouth, it builds up in your system like steam in a boiler. It becomes physical energy. It becomes anxiety. It becomes restlessness. Good. You need that pressure. That pressure is what pushes you to work at 2 in the morning when the supported people are sleeping. When you're alone, you have the luxury of total immersion. You don't have to go to happy hour. You don't have to attend the birthday parties of people you don't like. You don't have to maintain the social mask. You can let the mask fall and let the monster work. Use your isolation to obsess. The world calls obsession a mental illness. We call it a prerequisite. If you have 0 support, you must be obsessed. You must know more about your craft than anyone else. You must be so technically proficient, so strategically sound that you become undeniable. Steve Martin once said, "Be so good they can't ignore you." Notice he didn't say, "Be so loved they want to help you." When you're undeniable, support becomes irrelevant. And ironically, that's exactly when support starts to show up. People love to back a winner. They hate backing a struggler. As long as you're begging for help, you look like a struggler. But when you're crushing it in silence, when you pop up out of nowhere with results, suddenly everyone wants to be your friend. Everyone says, "I always knew they had it." You'll smile. You'll nod. But you'll never forget who was there when the room was empty. Which was no one. Just you. The grief process. To survive this path, you have to grieve. This is the part the motivational gurus skip. They tell you to hustle. They don't tell you that hustling alone hurts. You have to grieve the loss of the life you thought you were going to have. You thought you'd have a cheering section. You thought your parents would understand. You thought your friends would grow with you. They won't. You have to hold a funeral for the version of you that needed them. This is painful. It's a visceral, physical pain in the chest. It feels like betrayal. You'll find yourself staring at the ceiling at night wondering if you're crazy. You'll wonder if maybe they're right and you're wrong. This is the test. Every outlier goes through the valley of the shadow. It's the period of time where you've left the herd, but you haven't yet reached the sanctuary. You're in the wilderness. In the wilderness, you hallucinate. You invent demons. You crave the comfort of the cage you just escaped. But you cannot go back. You know too much. Once you've seen the reality that most people are sleepwalking, that support is just mutual sedation, you cannot unsee it. So you must kill the boy so the man can be born. You must kill the dependent so the sovereign can rise. This requires you to become your own parent. You must wake up and look in the mirror and be the father you never had. You must look at your bank account and be the provider you never had. You must look at your emotions and be the therapist you never had. You talk to yourself, literally. Get up. We have work to do. Stop crying. No one cares. Focus. This is the only way out. You develop a split personality. There's the you that is tired, emotional, and weak. And there's the you that is the commander. The commander drags the weakling through the mud. Eventually, the weakling dies, and only the commander remains. The villain origin story. Let's talk about the story you tell yourself. The average person tells a victim story. I couldn't start my business because I didn't have funding. I couldn't get in shape because I didn't have a gym partner. You will tell a villain origin story. I don't mean you become evil. I mean you become motivated by the slight. Michael Jordan, the greatest athlete of all time, was famous for inventing insults. He would convince himself that an opposing player disrespected him just so he could summon the rage to destroy them on the court. You need to do this. Take every rejection, every unanswered text, every smirk, every doubt, and place it in a mental furnace. They didn't support you. Good. They laughed at your idea. Perfect. They excluded you. Excellent. Burn it. Anger is a cleaner fuel than sadness. Sadness makes you heavy. It makes you want to lie down. Anger makes you light. It makes you want to move. Machiavelli said, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions." Don't be the victim. Be the one who sees the simplicity of people. Understand that they didn't support you because they couldn't see what you see. They're simple. They obey immediate needs, safety, conformity, ease. You're complex. You obey a future need, glory, power, freedom. You're speaking a language they don't speak. Stop trying to translate it for them. Just build the tower so high that they have to crane their necks to see it. Strategic isolation. When you succeed with zero support, the victory is sweeter. It's pure. There's no one to thank in the acceptance speech. There's no one to split the equity with. There's a dark satisfaction in knowing that you walked through the fire and didn't burn, even when everyone watched and waited for you to turn to ash. But to get there, you have to master the art of strategic isolation. Most people are isolated by accident. You must be isolated by design. Cut the cord. If you're hanging around people who drain you just because you're afraid of being alone, you're leaking power. You're paying a social tax to stay in a club that you don't even want to be in. Stop paying the tax. Sit in your room. Stare at the wall. Feel the silence. It will be loud at first. Your thoughts will scream. You're a loser. You have no friends. Let them scream. Watch them. Analyze them. Where do those voices come from? They come from a teacher in 3rd grade. They come from a cynical uncle. They come from television. They're not yours. Once the screaming stops, and it will stop, you'll hear something else. A quiet, steady hum. That is your own mind coming online for the first time. That is your intuition. That is your strategy. You cannot hear that voice when you're surrounded by the noise of support groups and brainstorming sessions. Greatness is born in the void. The logical reality. Let's look at this logically, devoid of emotion. Collaborations fail. Partnerships dissolve. Marriages end. The statistics are against you. Whenever you introduce a second variable, another human, into your equation for success, you increase the complexity and the risk of failure. Humans are volatile. They get sick, they get bored, they get jealous, they change their minds. If your plan relies on another person behaving consistently, your plan is flawed. Machiavelli advised the prince to avoid auxiliary forces, armies borrowed from other powerful leaders. Why? Because if they lose, you're defeated. And if they win, you're their prisoner. If you succeed using someone else's money, connections, or platform, you're their prisoner. You have to play by their rules. You have to censor your message. You have to compromise your vision. Succeeding with zero support is the only way to own your soul. Is it harder? Yes. Does it take longer sometimes? Yes. Is it worth it? Always. You're building a foundation of granite. The man who is lifted to the top by a helicopter stands on the peak, but he has no leg muscles. If the wind blows, he falls. The man who climbed the mountain alone, clawing his way up the rock face, bleeding, sweating, freezing, he has legs of steel. The wind cannot move him. He is the mountain. You want to be the climber, not the passenger. This is why you must embrace the difficulty. When you hit a roadblock and there's no one to call, do not panic. Smile. This is the rep that builds the muscle. This is where you learn how to solve problems. Maximum education. If you have a mentor who gives you the answer, you learn nothing. You just memorized a solution. If you have to dig through the mud for 3 weeks to find the answer yourself, you own that knowledge. It's part of your DNA now. Zero support means maximum education. You're forced to learn marketing. You're forced to learn product. You're forced to learn finance. You're forced to learn psychology. You become a polymath. You become a weapon of mass competence. The specialist is easy to replace. The generalist who built the whole castle from scratch. He's irreplaceable. So look at your empty contact list and say, thank you. Thank you for forcing me to become everything I needed. Dark psychology and sublimation. Now, let's go deeper into the dark psychology of this. There's a concept called sublimation. It's a defense mechanism where you take socially unacceptable impulses or raw emotions and transform them into productive actions. You're alone. You're likely sad, angry, or fearful. The average person numbs these feelings. They drink. They scroll TikTok. They watch pornography. They eat sugar. They do anything to sedate the pain of isolation. You will do the opposite. You will feel the pain fully, and you will channel it into the work. Pain is energy. It's high-octane fuel. Have you ever noticed how much work you can get done when you're heartbroken or when you're furious? The outlier learns to tap into this energy source on command. You don't wait for a tragedy. You use the ambient pain of your solitude. I'm alone. Work harder. They ignored me. Write better. I'm broke. Sell more. You create a response where pain triggers production. This is how you become a machine. While others are paralyzed by their emotions, you're propelled by them. Machiavelli would call this virtue. Not moral virtue, but capability, prowess, the ability to impose your will on fortune. Fortune is a woman, Machiavelli said, and she favors the bold. She favors the person who doesn't ask for permission. When you have support, you get soft. You feel safe. And safety is the death of ambition. You need to feel unsafe. You need to feel that if you stop swimming, you'll drown. That survival instinct unlocks the dormant parts of your brain. We're evolutionarily designed to survive. When you strip away the safety net of support, your primal brain wakes up. Your senses heighten. Your creativity spikes. You see opportunities you would have missed if you were comfortable. Welcome the danger. Welcome the solitude. It's waking you up. The protocol. You have no boss. You have no team. You have no accountability partner. This is the danger zone. Most people, when left to their own devices, dissolve into entropy. They sleep until 10. They scroll. They work for 20 minutes, then take a break for 2 hours. They treat their freedom like a vacation. If you do this, you will fail. To succeed with zero support, you must become a disciplined commander to yourself. You need a protocol. A protocol is not a to-do list. A to-do list is a wish. A protocol is a law. First, the morning negotiation. The moment your eyes open, you're in a negotiation. The weak part of your brain wants to hit snooze. It wants comfort. You must win this first battle every single day. If you lose to the alarm clock, you've already signaled to your subconscious that you're not in charge. Second, deep work blocks. You don't work all day. That's a lie people tell to look busy. You do deep work. You shut off the phone. You lock the door. You enter a trance state for 4 hours. In those 4 hours, you produce more than a corporation does in a week. Why? Because you have no meetings. You have no interruptions. This is your asymmetrical advantage: speed, focus, lethality. Third, information diet. If you have no support, your mind is your only asset. If you fill it with garbage, you produce garbage. Stop watching the news. Stop watching drama channels. Stop consuming content that makes you feel small. Read philosophy. Read strategy. Read technical manuals. Machiavelli studied the Romans. He didn't study the gossip of Florence. He studied greatness to become great. Fourth, the evening review. At the end of the day, you must audit yourself. Look in the mirror. Ask, did I move the needle today, or did I just make noise? You have no boss to give you a performance review. You must be the boss, and you must be a harsh one. If you failed, admit it. Correct it. Do not coddle yourself. This structure creates a container for your chaos. It replaces the external structure of a job or a school with an internal structure of iron. The networking trap. Let's address the biggest distraction for the lonely entrepreneur: networking. You're told, go network. Go to events. Hand out business cards. Listen to me. Networking is for people who have nothing to offer. When you're starting from zero, you have no leverage. If you walk into a room of powerful people, you're a beggar. You're asking for attention. You're asking for favors. Powerful people smell beggars. They despise them. Do not go to networking events. Stay home and build. Build value. Build a product. Build an audience. Build a skill set that is so rare, so valuable that you become a magnet. When you're a magnet, you don't need to chase the iron. The iron comes to you. Machiavelli advised the prince to make himself necessary. A wise prince must rely on what is in his power. Make yourself necessary to the market. If you're the best video editor in the niche, YouTubers will find you. If you're the best copywriter, agencies will find you. If you're the best strategist, CEOs will find you. Build the honeypot. Stop chasing the bees. Every hour you spend drinking cheap wine at a networking mixer is an hour you stole from your craft. It's an hour you could have used to become undeniable. The best network is a portfolio of undeniable work. The best introduction is a track record of excellence. Succeed first, network later. And when you do finally enter those rooms, you won't be handing out business cards. People will be asking for yours. The return. This is the part that will feel like a movie, but it's real. If you follow this path, the path of the ghost, the outlier, the architect, something strange will happen. You'll start to win. The numbers will go up. The money will hit the account. The physique will change. The confidence will radiate off you like heat. And then they'll come back. The friends who were too busy to grab coffee. The family members who asked, "When are you getting a real job?" The ex-partners who left you for someone more stable. They'll return, and they'll smile, and they'll say the word that will make your stomach turn, "We. I always knew we would make it. I'm so proud of us." They'll try to rewrite history. They'll try to insert themselves into your narrative. They want to stand next to the trophy they didn't help lift. This is your final test. The old you, the one who craved support, will want to let them back in. You'll want the validation. You'll want to say, "See, they love me now." Do not do it. You must handle this with grace. You don't need to be mean. You don't need to cause a scene. You simply maintain the distance. You treat them with the same polite indifference they treated you with. You become a wall of glass. They can see you, but they cannot touch you. You realize that their love is conditional. It's based on your utility to them. It's based on your status. And that's fine. That's human nature. But you don't build a castle on shifting sand. You keep your circle tight. You keep the gates closed. The only people allowed in the castle are the ones who helped you carry the stones. And since you carried them alone, the castle belongs to you alone. This is not loneliness. This is sovereignty. The peace of self-reliance. There's a peace in this that's hard to describe. It's the peace of knowing you're self-reliant. You know that if you lost it all tomorrow, you could build it all back again because you are the asset. Not your friends, not your network, not your luck. You. So where does this end? It doesn't. Once you've succeeded with zero support, you've unlocked a new level of the game. You're no longer the survivor. You're the architect. You now have the resources to build the world you wanted to live in. And here's the beautiful paradox: now that you don't need support, you can give it. You can become the person you wished you had. You can spot the young, hungry, lonely person who's about to give up, and you can be the one who says, "Keep going." You don't do it to get something back. You do it because you know the pain of the empty room. But you do it strategically. You don't save everyone. You only invest in those who show the spark. You become the mentor, the patron, the guide. But never forget where you came from. Never forget the cold. Never forget the silence. Keep a piece of that darkness in your heart. Let it be the anchor that keeps you grounded while the world throws flowers at your feet. They clap for you now, but you know the truth. You clapped for yourself when the room was silent, and that applause is the only sound that matters. The final truth. I can feel your brain trying to reject this. This is too hard, it whispers. I need people. Humans are social animals. That's your biology talking. That's the prey instinct trying to herd you back into the flock where it feels safe. But safety is an illusion. The sheep is safe until the wolf arrives. The wolf is safe because he's dangerous. Which one are you? The path of zero support is not for everyone. It's for the outlier. It's for the mutation. It requires you to be willing to look like a failure for a long time so you can look like a legend forever. It requires you to suffer in the dark so you can shine in the light. Most people will turn this off and go text a friend to complain about their day. They'll seek the microdose of sympathy. They'll feel better for 10 minutes, and nothing will change. But you're still here. You're analyzing. You're plotting. You're realizing that the empty chair next to you is not a vacancy. It's a throne waiting for you to grow big enough to fill it. Let me leave you with this final thought. Machiavelli wrote, "God is not willing to do everything, and thus take away our free will and that share of glory which belongs to us." He's telling you that you're expected to fight. You're expected to grab glory with your own hands. It will not be handed to you. The path I've shown you today is not easy. It's not meant to be. Easy paths lead to crowded destinations. The hard path, the lonely path, the path where you carry every stone yourself. That's the path that leads to the summit. And when you reach that summit, when you stand at the top of your empire, you'll look down and see the crowd below. They'll look up at you in wonder, asking how you did it. And you'll remember this moment. You'll remember the decision you made to walk alone. The choice is yours. You can close this video and go back to seeking support, to waiting for someone to believe in you, to hoping that one day the world will give you permission to be great. Or you can accept the truth: no one is coming. The cavalry isn't on its way. The mentor isn't going to appear. The perfect partner who believes in your vision doesn't exist. But that's not a curse. It's a gift. Because once you truly accept that you're alone, you'll realize you were never really alone. You had you. And you are enough. The empty room is not a prison. It's a laboratory. The silence is not punishment. It's permission. The isolation is not abandonment. It's liberation. So take a deep breath. Look around that empty room one more time. And then get to work. Your empire is waiting. And you're the only architect it needs. The throne is empty. Fill it.